said we're going to go to kick my little girl. Kick me. My little girl. Kick her own. Okay.
Welcome to Pioneer Coal Mine. What you're in right now is an old coal mine that was owned and operated by the Philadelphia Ready Coal and Iron Company. Operating on this level from 1911 until 1931 when it shut down because of the Depression. It didn't reopen again until 62 when it opened up as a tourist attraction. So basically what you see here today is the way it looked when it ended its operations in 31. The mine employed 35 miners, 10 mules, and a handful of boys to do all the work. And they were expected to get about 400 ton a day out of here. So it was a good working mine when it was in its operational period. The reason we stop here is because we're at the Mammoth vein. And people were out there on the train, you saw the Mammoth where it was strip mined out. Well, here's where it's at underground. Anyway, what you're in right now is called a rock tunnel. Rock tunnels or haulage ways are going to run in the north-south direction, bisecting all the veins of coal, which are going to run in an east-west direction. The thing about our area here is we're in the middle of the southern coal fields in the Anthracite region, and all our veins of coal are going to rely on a degree of pitch, anywhere from 40 to 90 degrees. Therefore, we can't bring equipment in here to do any mining. Our mining in here is done identical to what it was done in the 1800s and 1890s and 1880s, all by hand. So what we'll do is we'll go down inside the mine, we'll get out of the cars, take a walk down a couple gangways and show you how this operation's done. gang is a gangway. I like that, gangway. Anyway, this is called a 7-foot gangway, and it sits right here. The vein of coal is called a 7-foot. It sits right here. Here's the top rock, bottom rock, sitting neatly pressed in between. There's that vein of coal. That's nothing at all like the Mammoth vein. But this is a normal type of vein that we're going to mine while we're inside of one of these type of mines here. What it's going to do, it's going to do the same thing as the Mammoth. It's going to go 400 feet to the surface, 2,000 feet down below. It's basing out on the town of Ashland, come up over there by Centralia again. Right now we are 400 feet below the surface and about 1,800 feet inside the mountain. The anthracite coal, you cannot dig it out, shovel it out, or pick it out. It's too hard. So what you have to do is you have to blast it out. Anthracite coal is 94.2% pure carbon. Now the way the old lads did it back in their day was they had to drill a series of holes into the vein of coal, which they call shots. And they would utilize what this is right here. This is called an auger. This is a hand-driven drill. What the miners would do is they would drill into the vein anywhere from 6, 12, 18 holes, depending on how big of a cut you want to make. So they would put this drill on a board across on their chest and lean into it this way and drill, while another lad was on his back pushing them to keep it going steady. How they did this, I have no freaking idea. Because we use pneumatic drills, electric stuff, all that kind of stuff, and it's extremely hard utilizing all of that equipment. But these old lads did it that way, so the only conclusion I come to is they were better men than we are at that time period. So what they're going to do is, I said, they'll drill those shot holes. And in those shot holes, they were going to place what we call a squib shot. Squib shot's a charge about that long, about that thick around, filled with black powder. And maybe up to 5 of them they'll insert in that shot hole. Take a tamping rod and ram them on in there. Now the fuses would be hanging out. They'll take the mud from the floor, pack it in there on those shots so you get a good compression when it goes off. So if you set 6 shots, you light them. Now you got about a minute to get your butt out of here and go out and sit in the haulage way out here and wait for the shots to fire. If the shots fire off and all 6, you hear 6 good ones. If you don't hear 6, you don't come back in here. You could have a little fizzler or one that just didn't want to work out right. But if you come in here too early and it goes off in your face, that's the end of your mining career. So basically, that's just to show you how we drill the holes and put the shots in there. Today we use dynamite, which is a lot safer and a lot easier. But that's not where we do the mining. Where we're going to do our mining is up here. So if you take a step back this way and look up above your head here, you'll see where we do all our mining. That vein of coal would be running directly through here. Now we're going to take a 35-foot section of the coal out, and then we're going to run it up about 50 feet and widen it out to a 60-foot section we call the box. The box is where we're going to be doing all our money mining. These are called batter boards here, and that's where you place your feet while you're working your way up. As you can see, you're going to be in a prone position most of the way, all the way to the surface. And this is only a small degree of pitch. Sometimes when you're doing an 80-degree pitch, as you can imagine, it's extremely hard to do that. These big boys here are called legs, and what they're here for is to help support the roof of the gangway here. I've been in some old coal mines where these legs are twice the diameter of this and they're all snapped in the middle. Comes from what we call press. That's the mountain pushing down on top of you. So, if you turn around and look at the wall back here, you'll see these devices. These are called roof bolts. They're put in by a machine, and what they are is like a big lag bolt. You drill them down in there, and once you tighten them down, it's going to pull the rock together and give you good stability. We did this because of MSHA, which is Mine Safety Health Administration. The brown stuff you see coming down across the roof of the mine there, that's called iron sulfate. That comes from groundwater running down over the veins of coal and the rock. Now, on any coal mine you're ever going to be in, it's going to be wet. And what we are in right now, there's 3 types of coal mines. What we're in right now is called a drift. A drift cuts in at about a 6-degree pitch into the side of the mountain and will cut across all the veins of coal. Our water will drain out pretty much by itself. Now, if we're in a mine called a slope's going to follow that pitch down 1,000 foot. And at the bottom, you've got to put in a sump so you can get rid of the water, because that water is going to accumulate very, very fast. And the other mine, what everybody calls any mine, is a mine shaft, but a mine shaft drops vertically 1,000 foot. Now, back in the old days, when they had these big pumps down in there, and they would pump all this water out into all the rivers, streams, and the creeks, and it completely environmentally destroyed everything. That is one of the bad aspects of coal mining, is that pumping the water out. And to me, one of the scariest things when working in a mine is water. Where is it? Where is it hiding? What's it going to do? We had a lot of accidents where guys are drowned because of water and such like that. Actually, the Anthracite region runs from Scranton all the way down to Dauphin County, about 120 miles. All of the mines in the up northern fields, like in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and all that, they're dead, gone. Because back in the 60s, they drilled into the Susquehanna River.
Oh, jeez.
And the river went in
the water
and wiped out everything. So, this is an old telephone that's been in here about, it's over 100 and some years old. It has that nice little cell phone ring. And what it would do is it'll light up out in the office and say level 1. And you can call out and ask for anything you might need in the course of your work day. This mine has 3 levels though. We're on level 1, 300 feet below us is level 2, and 300 feet below that's level 3. Yes, bud?
Can you call someone on the phone?
Could I call someone? Let's see. No. Right now, as I said, we are 400 feet below the surface. We're about 1,800 feet inside the Mahanoy Mountain. And as we were coming in the haulage way here, we were cutting across numerous veins of coal. You might have seen names listed across the timbers as we were coming in. Those were different veins. I stopped out there at the Mammoth. We stopped over at the 7 foot and over down the Buck. So the Buck was the big money maker for him on this level right here. And this shows you though how all the veins lie on that degree of pitch. This is called pitch vein mining due to that degree of the pitch of the vein in the coal. First thing we're going to do is when we cut into the vein, we call it striking the vein. We're going to cut directly into the vein, leave a 60-foot section in, we call a pillar. Then we're going to take out 60 feet, called a chute. Then another 60, leave a pillar. Another chute, pillar. That's going to go as long as that vein of coal is in a workable condition. And that vein on the Buck will run about 7 miles to the west of us here. First thing though, we want to do immediately upon starting a new section is we want to open up that first chute over there completely to the surface and out on top of the mountain. That's our second escape route. If we have a problem down here, we can all go up the ladder there 400 feet and out on top of the mountain. This middle chute here shows you how a chute will look when everything is all stored up in there. You're not going to take the chutes right out to the top because you don't want to do that. We're going to stop about 75 feet below the surface. This one here shows you how we do the actual mining. It's called pitch vein mining, as I said, but we're going to show you like over there in the 7 foot, we start at a 35-foot section. We go up 50 feet, widen it out to a 60-foot section. And build it up on each side with a lattice. And you'll be working on a degree like this with boards. Little ladders on the lattice here. And then you can climb in and out of your box there. Set your shots. Fire your shots or come down here and hide in one of these areas. These are called monkey headings. Hide down in there and wait till your shots fire. Shots fire off. Everything seems good. Wait till the dust and the dirt and the smoke clears. Climb back up and start building your box up another 3 feet on each side and try to work about 8 feet a day going uphill on the coal itself. Problem is you don't have anything to stand on a 40, 60, 70, 80 degree pitch. So what you do is you allow coal from previous operations to accumulate in the box, and then you stand on that coal. That's what you do. When the chute's completely filled, you want to offload. It's easily offloaded down through a series of chutes, traps, doors, and batteries down to the gangway floor down here. And anthracite mining is extremely dangerous. There's so many things can go wrong underground. And one of the big problems we have in this area is gas. Every time we drill into a vein of anthracite, you have an opportunity of releasing what we call a blower. A blower is methane. Now that methane has been in that rock and coal for millions of years. It's harmless, not going to do a thing to anybody. But mix with 1.5% oxygen, now we have one of the most explosive gases. We call it fire damp. You can't smell it, feel it, or taste it. It's lighter than air, hangs up high. For us today, it's a problem, can be, but back in the day, all the old miners had open flame lamps. So, say an old miner climbed up into his box, sat up there, stuck his head up into the top, kaboom, he just blew himself up, blew the box up, half the pillar on each side, all the way down to the gangway floor, where it creates another gas that we call after damp. After damp is a suffocating gas, because it has sucked out all the air. So anybody trapped down in here or anything could suffocate easily. The other gas we have is CO2. CO2 is, call it black damp. Comes from a variety of different reasons. Can't smell it, feel it, or taste it. Heavier than air, so it hangs at knee level. Today we use, up until today, we use one of these guys. This is called a miner's flame safety lamp. What happens is there's fuel down here, an igniter, and you can get a little flame in there. Without getting real technical, if I put this device up like this to check for fire damp, the flame will start rising up and burning it that way. Real stable. You can come a little closer. She doesn't bite. This is Molly. Molly is a mine mule. Mine mules are extremely intelligent, very strong, stubborn. Yeah, I guess that's a mule trait. But what I loved about talking about these mules with the old lads that work with them, they were vindictive. If you did anything to hurt them or do anything to them, they never forgot you. They were taken care of by a bunch of young lads called driver boys. These kids taught them how to work down here because you didn't use bits, bridles, or reins. The boys carried a whip to crack over the mule's head, and they walked beside the mule or they rode on the bumper of the car as they were going out. And giving commands like waha, which meant turn left, and yee, which meant turn right. These boys were poets and songwriters, and they were one of my favorite songs of all. It's called My Sweetheart's the Mule in the Mines. And it goes, my sweetheart's a mule in the mines. I drive her without reins or lines. On the bumper I sit, and tobacco I spit all over my sweetheart's behind.
Just getting a look.
Look here.
When you look up there and see the lights that are lit up, that's only 1/3 of the way up. We have to go to the left. This is also a work and shoot. This is the way a shoot would look when you're working it here. Two fellas work a shoot, a miner and his assistant called his butchie. And every day they had to climb up there with all their tools, timbers and shovels and picks. Over here is the empty box. There was a little shelf. And as soon as I got right near that shelf, my lamps shined right in the copperhead. Oh my God, curled up right there, right? And I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. We're staring at each other. Who's making the first move? Oh. So I said, okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
There you go.
That's a shoot. You're not climbing up. Dude, that's Tell Uncle Dan now. Push you to work. Tell Uncle Dan no.
No.
Okay.
I was in the airplane.
Oh, okay.
What, see?
Yeah. Okay.
This is going down to the second level now.
You want to see down there?
The second level down there, 300 feet down, looks just like this one up here. If we went down to the third level, you'd probably get a wetsuit. Okay, gang, when you want to get paid, what you got to do is you got to empty your chute. So what happens is the miner sends his assistant called his butty. Is anybody here from the coal region? Anybody? No, I guess not. Well, anyway, around here that term is quite familiar. I always say that you're, hey bud, how you doing, bud? You know, so that's a miner's assistant. And he'll go up to the box and he'll claw down to the bottom of the box. He'll open up a door up there and allow that coal to flow down here to the miner who's sitting in the base of the chute called a battery. Now what he will do, because he can't see what's going on down here, is he'll turn and dangle his feet on the inside of the car, and as the coal rises up, he can feel it and then shut it off. You call a driver boy will come in, pull the car out, and then bring another empty in here until they offload the whole chute. One mine car weighs 4 ton, unloaded 2 ton. So think on this one, one mine mule on a level grade like we're on right now, could supposedly pull 3 fully loaded cars. So on any type of an incline or decline, you don't want to pull the car over backwards or run up on the hind legs of the mule and injure. You're going to get fired or company property. So the driver boy, in turn, had a kid they called a runner. His job was to run alongside the car, carrying what I'm holding in my hand here, which is called a sprag. Now he insert that sprag in the open part of the wheel, and as it rotated, it would drag the wheel down and act like a brake. Trouble is, these kids were only 11 and 12 years of age, so if they tripped and fell, they could lose their arms and legs or be crushed underneath the weight of the cars. Very bad. So, you want to see what a working mine looks like. You see where back here in the back where it's all caved in? That comes from the last option of the mining operation. It's called robbing the pillars. What the mining bosses will do is they want all the coal, so they'll send the miners out to the last chutes. They'll climb up into those last chutes and will drill into those things called pillars that's holding the mountain up. And they'll retreat backwards. And as they're retreating backwards, the roof will fall in behind them. Very dangerous occupation. If you want to come up here and take pictures, go ahead, and then we'll head out to the cars.
That one back there looks so weird.
I'm the last one then.
Oh, we forgot about you. Sorry.
No problem.
Got rude.
Yeah.